topic of what I wanted to talk about today. So I'm going to be looking at some notes on my phone, but I just felt like I really wanted to talk about it today. So first of all, I want to say, I know most of y'all are probably sleep deprived because you're studying for finals, so if you use this time to sleep, that's okay. Okay? It's okay. I'm not going to call you out, or, if you have a short attention span and you're going to go in and out of my story, and then it's going to be hard for you to connect the dots, and then you're not going to know what I was trying to say, that's okay too. Okay? So, there's only one thing I want you guys to take away from this whole speech, and that is, everyone in this room deserves to be seen, known, and loved. Okay, so I just want to emphasize this again. So I'm going to need y'all to repeat after me. So everyone in this room deserves to be seen, known, and loved. Okay, thank you. Okay, so for me, that phrase is very significant, and it probably started back in high school. Yeah, my favorite time. So first of all, I was definitely seen. So in high school, I was president of a few clubs. I was student council vice president. I represented my school district in the city youth council. I was involved in youth ministry. Basically, I was very seen. I was surrounded by so many people. And I'm very grateful for that because I made so many genuine connections with teachers, with peers, with parents, and adults. But the crazy thing was, no one knew me. But that's because I didn't want anyone to know me. And I didn't want anyone to know the me that was going through a broken family life. So, in 10th grade, I found out that my dad had gambled away my college savings that my mom had spent her whole entire life for me. She had spent her whole entire life saving that for me, right? So he spent all that, and he also maxed out a lot of credit cards. And the night that I found out, my dad didn't say a single word when everything was just falling apart. And my mom, who is one of the most caring, kind, and nurturing women that I know, for the first time, she was so numb. She didn't react, and she didn't say anything. And that was the first time I had seen my mom let herself become overpowered by anything. So while my mom began working from morning till night to, kind of reduce the debt, and on top of cooking and cleaning and being a mom, my dad, on the other hand, never really helped out the house despite working part-time. But I think the worst thing that he did was he never said sorry. And that drove me super crazy. Can you at least pretend to feel remorseful? Can you make us think that this family is still together? I feel like even in movies, evil characters have moments of redemption, or they feel moments of doubt, right? But my dad was just nothing. So that was supposed to be funny, but that's okay. And unfortunately, I had to relive these painful moments for a couple years because my dad would habitually cave into his gambling addiction. And it just so happened every time I thought my family and I were making progress. So in that time frame, there were years of bitterness towards my dad, towards men. There was lots of hurt and shame. And I felt like no one could understand. Or I felt like I couldn't even tell anyone because I didn't want anyone to carry that emotional burden for me because I couldn't even carry it myself. So it's so funny because on the outside, my dad was very charming and very thoughtful for others, but inside with my family, he was so inconsiderate, selfish, prideful, and never did anything that I felt was deserving of my forgiveness and my love. And the emotional baggage I was carrying really impacted how I made connections with other people, and I found myself keeping my friends at a distance. at a safe distance so that they wouldn't be overwhelmed with my pain. But God wanted me to understand that I deserved to be seen, to be known, and to be loved. And I got to understand the depth of this through my friends and my communities. They never stopped trying to be my friend, even when I tried so hard to push them away and keep us at that superficial friendship level. They incessantly sought my presence, accepting my quirks, my flaws, and at the time, my inability to be emotionally vulnerable. And they made me feel seen, known, and loved to the point where I couldn't keep it inside my heart. And I wanted to share that same love for others, and I wanted to be able to reach out to those who might be going through the same pain as me and who were looking for that same emotional relief from someone else. So God knew exactly what I needed help in and support in. And with this perfect timing, He placed the people that would teach me in my life. And it was receiving God's love on the human level through my community that I understood the depth of the greatest love that I was holding myself back from. And that was God's love. I just wanted to share this quote from the Bible. It's John chapter 1, verse 48. So this is how it goes. "How do you know me?" Nathanael asked. And Jesus replied, "Before Philip called you, I saw you." So what does that mean? Why would Jesus say that to someone he barely met? But in a way, I was Nathanael. I was so shook that God knew me and that God saw right through me. He knew my heartaches, my desires, my struggles, my pain, everything with a simple glance. He saw beyond all that superficial stuff about me. He saw my soul, and His heart broke for what broke mine. And He loved me every step of the way. So I feel like each of us have this insatiable desire to be known, seen, and loved. We want to be noticed beyond our insecurities. We want to be noticed behind our walls, behind our skills and accomplishments, behind the Facebook photos that we post, behind the I'm fine. We want to be valued despite our mistakes and our outer appearances whenever we're not looking so hot. And we want to be seen and appreciated with all our mistakes. So this is pretty huge, right? Because it means that we have this freedom to fix our mistakes because we want to, and not because we have to kind of chase after this lovability status. So God's love is unconditional, and we don't have to do anything to deserve it. So whether you're in a really great place right now, everything's looking good for you, you got your dream girl, dream guy, dream job, or you're going through a lot of obstacles right now and it just seems like there's no hope, or you don't really know the best you can hope is not the best at all. The beautiful thing is that there's nothing we can do about our situation to make us more loved, because we already have full access to God's love. There's nothing we can do to gain more of His love, and there's nothing we can do to lose His love. So as I began challenging myself to treat others in a way that they would feel seen, known, and loved, I knew deep down that my dad needed it the most, and I was not giving it to him. It's so funny. I think we're so patient and understanding with our friends. Like if our friends are late, we're like, oh, it's okay. Or we'll be talking to this guy, and he'll take us on this emotional roller coaster, and we're waiting for him to define the relationship, and we're like, oh, I'll just stick it out. And then finally, I'll deserve his love. But then with our parents, sometimes they call us so many times in a day, and then we're so fed up. We're like, Mom, are you serious? Are you serious? Right? Don't, I know y'all do that. But anyways, regardless of whether it's our friends or it's our family, it's really hard to forgive someone when they hurt you, right? Because you don't get anything in exchange. And especially if they hurt you repeatedly, first of all. I refuse to sympathize with his gambling habits, that they might be something psychologically rooted. And I refuse to love him unconditionally. And this semester, I actually met someone who loves his family, friends, and community so hard, truly beyond what I thought was humanly possible. And he told me that he ultimately focuses on loving people where they're at in their lives. So I'm going to say that line again. Loving people right now where they're at in their lives. Isn't that kind of the love that I received from my community? The story I just told, right? I was so hard to love because I victimized myself in my circumstances. But because my community loved me in the midst of where I was in my life, that's allowed me to be who I am today, and that's allowed me to be right here on the stage talking to you guys and sharing my story to a bunch of strangers that I don't know.
Woo! Yeah! Let's go!
But don't get me wrong, even now, I can still be hard to love. You can definitely ask my friends and my family that, right? Okay, we'll talk later. We're gonna talk later. I still get impatient. I still get pretty annoyed sometimes. And I can act anything but lovingly at times. But that's okay, because again, God's love isn't transactional. When he died for me on that cross, that was the depth of how much he loved me, and there's nothing that I can do to take that away, and there's nothing that I can do to get more of his love. Amen. And the crazy thing is, God is my role model and my counselor, right? He's filling me up in areas of my shortcomings and giving me strength and courage and encouragement to try again with my dad, even when he hurts me again and again, and even if he hurts me in the future. And just like my dad, you and I are not perfect, and we're broken in our own ways. Yet, even though I was a difficult person, God let me know I was loved deeply and profoundly, without reservation, through the people he put in my life. And I thrived so much because of that. And because I'm made in the image of God, and I have been made with God's capacity for love, and God's called to die for love, I love my dad because my Heavenly Father loved me like that. So I'm at the conclusion now. So if you zoned out, you can, tune back in. There's still some things you can take away from my speech. Everyone in this room has the power to help others feel seen, known, and loved. So don't hold back on those compliments and admirations that you have for other people, even if they're strangers. Ask acquaintances how their day is so far. Ask them for lunch. Step out of your clique, step out of your circle. And help someone feel loved today, because everyone deserves to be seen, known, and deeply loved, including ourselves. Thank you.